Well, a human rights group, Amnesty International, says Zimbabwean president should use his position at the AU to address key human rights concerns on the continent, including his own country. Well, that sounds like a heavy schedule for President Robert Mugabe. Let's get you more on this story. I'm joined live in our Johannesburg studio by Gideon Chitanga from the University of Johannesburg. Mr. Chitanga, thank you so much for joining us. Now, Mr. Mugabe's appointment to the AU chair, is he an answer to Africa's problems, or has Africa scored its own goal?
Thank you for the question, and it's a difficult question given the political, socio-economic and political context in Africa. I think that the best way to look at it is that we are in a continent that is going through a renaissance, and there is a lot of economic optimism. And so if you look at it that way, the appointment of President Mugabe is really a paradox given his age, given the controversy about elections and democratic governance in Zimbabwe, and given the economic meltdown in his country. He is the least of the leaders who is likely to inspire confidence and optimism and hope to the African continent.
It's common knowledge that President Mugabe is such a pariah, especially in the international community. So will he use this position to legitimize himself?
You can already say that the ZANU-PF strategists are busy milking Mugabe's tenure as the incumbent chairperson in the African Union to score a diplomatic coup. Obviously, it's an important position, although it is a ceremonial position indeed. So Mugabe will actually strive to demonstrate that Africa is fully behind him. And the international community will have a challenge in dealing with his attendance of international forums, because you really have to attend international forums as a representative of the African Union, as a representative of SADC, and as well as a head of state in Zimbabwe. So diplomatically, it's very important. Its symbolism cannot be underestimated. But in terms of changing lives in Africa and in Zimbabwe, I think that part would be very problematic for him.
So his fellow African leaders who voted him to power, why would they do that, given his age, his failing health, and as well as a mountain of challenges that he's facing in his own country?
There are two or more ways to look at that question. And I think the basic one is that his appointment is a procedural fait accompli, in the sense that he was the first sitting vice chairperson of the AU, and given that his chairperson would be automatic. So that procedure is based on consensus among African leaders outside special circumstances which would have to buy him from taking the position. Okay. So from that...
Just to interrupt you there, is he likely to prevent Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, the African Union Commission chairperson, from carrying out effectively her duties?
No, not at all. The position of the chairperson is really not clearly defined in the statutes of the African Union, but also it's a very symbolic and ceremonial position. The executive roles will have to be delivered whether Mr. Mugabe is there or not. I don't think his position will interfere with Nkosazana Zuma's role.
Right. Now, Zimbabwe is facing so many sanctions, so will this affect his role as the AU chair?
The controversy will pervade his one-year tenure. Remember, he already failed to attend Obama's ceremony where he invited African leaders because he's under US sanctions. And the EU will be very proactive to try and say sanctions should be upheld unless reform is seen to be happening in Zimbabwe. So Africa will have the problem of having its key diplomatic representative internationally functioning under sanctions.
Mr. Chitanga, thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
That was Gideon Chitanga, a political analyst with the University of Johannesburg, live in our Johannesburg studio.